Thank you to AOPA for sponsoring today's episode. Please take a few moments to check out their website and learn how to become a member to support CFIs and the general aviation community. Thank you for joining us on this episode of More Right Rudder. Today we are joined by some folks from AOPA's Air Safety Institute. Joining us today is Jodee Patton, and she is the Chief Flight Instructor for the eFIRC, their Flight Instructor Renewal Program. Jodee is a Gold Seal CFI who has previously instructed in both Part 61 and 141 environments, as well as being a founding member of the Mountaineer chapter of the 99s in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Also joining us is Paul Darris. He's a CFI, A&P, and veteran of the U.S. Army. He is the Vice President of Operations at Air Safety Institute. Welcome, guys.
Hey, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks. We're excited to have you today. And so today we're talking about how using ASI's Flight Instructor Renewal course is also a reinvestment in continued aviation safety. So can you give us a bit of an overview on how that works?
Yeah, let me just first introduce, I know you've introduced Jodee, but let me just again welcome her to the ASI team. She's been fairly new with us here at AOPA. Glad to have her on board, and she's diving right into the eFIRC. It's a great program. I'll let her talk more about the program itself overview, but we've been in the eFIRC business now for decades. Originally the in-person FIRC many years ago, and now the, of course, just the online FIRC. But Jodee, go ahead and tell us more about the program itself that you're overseeing now.
Oh, thank you. And thank you, Sarah, for having us on here today. So our flight instructor renewal course is considered the gold standard of aviation. We believe that safety starts on the student's first day of flight or ground training. So we try to tailor our course content with that in mind to help certified flight instructors be better equipped to demonstrate and share safety-related behaviors and knowledge with their students so that we're constantly educating our pilots and promoting safer skies.
Okay, great. So tell us how the eFIRC works and what people can expect if they purchase that course.
So from now until the end of the year, we are offering our flight instructor renewal course at a discounted price for $85 for our 85th year in AOPA. And so with the course, you get 13 mandatory modules and 11 elective modules that you get to choose from. Our course is optimized for PCs, Macs, iPads, and Androids. And then yearly, we have about 6,000 CFIs complete and graduate our course each year.
Okay, and what are some samples of that elective content that instructors would get to choose from?
So we try to do with our elective content more advanced ratings that flight instructors can help their students with. So we have things to do with backcountry flying. We have some tailwheel operations, seaplane operations. We have a module on survival. So we like to take those elective modules a little bit farther and help CFIs advance their skills that also help to advance their student skills in more non-conventional flying areas.
All right, yeah, so that's nice to open that up to a wide variety because, of course, CFIs are doing all sorts of stuff. Not everybody is, doing laps around the traffic pattern every day. Those advanced skills need to come from somewhere, and that's flight instructors.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. We also have a module on helicopter safety and unmanned aircraft systems. So we're trying to kind of bring together the entire aviation community and not just stick with fixed wing teachings and things like that. So we're trying to expand and include everybody in aviation into the eFIRC content.
Yeah, that's a great choice. So for people who do specialize in those or want to learn more about those, they have those options, and it's all part of their renewal that they have to do anyways.
Absolutely. I agree.
So one other unique aspect that you noted of ASI's eFIRC is the access that users have to other expert CFIs. So can you talk to us more about what that is?
Absolutely. So when you purchase the eFIRC content, you are then allowed or given access to our Pilot Information Center, which is a center full of pilots and CFIs who have all the knowledge that I guess you and I would have as CFIs. So if somebody gets stuck or there's an issue or just a general question, we have the Pilot Information Center that's able to give that advice or knowledge or even help with what the question is.
Okay. And when someone gets through the course, what happens at completion?
Okay, great question. So during completion, you get a graduation certificate, but then you also get your flight instructor certificate renewed. So we go through the application, the IACRA process, and make sure that's sent off to the FAA so that you receive your new flight instructor certificate. But yeah, you get a graduation certificate and like a congratulations, you passed it and you're valid for the next 24 months.
All right, great. And so is that all included in your cost?
Absolutely, yes, it's all included in our cost. So once you purchase the flight instructor renewal course, the entire start to finished is then going to be completed with that cost.
If I could add to that, regarding the cost, CFIs might ask us why should I take your eFIRC compared to others that are out there? And of course, we're all in this together, right, to improve GA safety. We have about 9 providers of online FIRCs across industry, and we understand that CFIs will choose the one that works best for them. We try to always refresh the content. So every 2 years, when CFI comes back, they're not seeing the same content every 2 years. But you can imagine I think we have more than almost 2,500 pages of content in this online FIRC that we offer. So even if we refresh, 10% of that, you may not see it overtly, every 2 years. But I think CFIs need to know that we are not only doing our best to update the course every 2 years, but we are required to whenever there's a new rule coming out or new advisory circular or things of that nature that affect CFI's knowledge and training. The other aspect to this too is that it's important to know that every dollar that's poured into this program goes right back into ASI safety education. So all the videos that people get to watch each year across our YouTube channel, all of our programs that we offer, that's all free to anybody. It doesn't require AOP membership. But to do that, of course, we need some source of funding to make that happen. And so all the money from the eFIRC gets poured right back into operations to help fund what we do every day. So I guess it's a way of saying first, thanks to all the CFIs who are watching who do take our eFIRC, because your funding does help support what we do. And of course, it helps us keep this eFIRC alive each year to keep the content fresh and relevant for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and keeping the content fresh and relevant is a big part of it. 'Cause this is kind of the only touch point for flight instructors in keeping their knowledge current, unless they're the only required touch point. Of course, they should be going out and seeking that knowledge, but sometimes you miss things or you don't know what's out there. There's a whole wealth of things that come at you from so many different directions as a CFI. It's not hard to miss something. And so FERCs are a great centralized location to capture all that. And yeah, you do want it engaging and all that fun stuff. No one wants to sit there and do a mouse jiggling exercise. Those aren't any fun, and you're really not learning anything. You're teaching and learning principles just aren't there. So what types of videos and other educational content, you touched on your YouTube content lightly or other things. Can you give us an overview of what other types of content that purchasing an eFIRC provides funding for?
Yeah, thanks for asking. It's we're living in that YouTube era now, and social media is very prevalent. Decades ago, we were more known for in-person seminars and online courses that were built in Adobe Flash, but everything now is migrating to YouTube. So different types of videos that we offer. The most popular series that we offer are the accident case studies. And I think that's what we're known for. nobody else. Well, I shouldn't say nobody else does them. There are others that do them now, but we try to aim to be the best, not just for the brand's sake, but really just to we had to do our best to influence pilot behavior. The problem areas we're seeing each year in the accident database, those aren't changing year to year, decade to decade. We're still finding the same problems the pilots are having all the time. So the challenge to the ASI team is how do we take that same problem, say for example, VFR to IMC, how do we take that same problem that's been taught about, it's been taught, it's been read about, probably ad nauseum. This time, can we do it in a way that pilots finally get that realization? Oh, this is what the impact really means to me. This is now I understand it better. So we try to do that through storytelling, through accident case studies. We also have the real pilot story videos, which are very similar. They do analyze accidents, but the pilots of course, live to tell their stories, and they're on camera talking about what they did and admitting to mistakes they made. And the culture there we're trying to generate there is a culture of it's okay to come out and talk about your mistakes in this community that we live in. We there's I think sort of this stigma for pilots who don't want to talk about mistakes. We want to be that perfect image of the pilot who has no flaws. We know that's just not true. So I think the real pilot stories hopefully will foster a culture of it's okay to come out and talk about the mistakes you make to help other pilots fly safer to avoid the same mistakes. We still do offer the early analysis videos. We have a fairly new senior vice president here at ASI, Mike Ginter, veteran of the Navy for 27 years and GA pilot. And so he's bringing back the early analysis videos that we offer and a bunch of other series as well. People can go to our website at theairsafetyinstitute.org or YouTube channel to see all that we offer. But I think we have more than 300 different videos on our YouTube channel.
Oh,
It's quite a
wow,
bit.
that's quite a number. So does any of this unique type of content work its way into the eFIRC?
Yeah, absolutely. We do try to take those mostly accident case studies and various videos, embed those in. Jodee, if you want to talk more about that, feel free to.
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely like to take our own content and put it into the eFIRC. Not only does it show the flight instructors that we're serious about promoting safety, but it shows that we value the quality of information that we put into the flight instructor renewal course. So if there is a video that say it has to do with seaplane safety or backcountry flying, if it applies to that module and it is from the ASI safety team, we're going to take that video first and put it into the flight instructor renewal course. And so we do like to take as I was saying, the videos that our production team creates, and we like to put those in first just to improve the quality because we know that we have quality videos and the content is all correct and things like that. So anything we can do to promote safer skies and educate pilots on anything related to the accidents that happen. We are actually in the safest area in general aviation. So we'd like to continue that by putting out the quality content in the videos that we do with the accident analysis and stuff like that. So we do like to take those accident analysis videos and put them in the scenarios that would apply into the eFIRC so that pilots have different types of accidents that they can analyze and understand what happened and what went wrong from from their perspective as well as the person that or the plane that it happened to's perspective.
And that's always an important part, even working with students in general, even flight instructors ourselves is still learning is keeping it relevant and fresh. We don't want to hear about accidents that happened 40, 50 years ago in aircraft we don't fly. It's not relevant. The technology doesn't apply. The rules have changed. We're just doing things so wildly different now. So it's really critical to keep all of that up to date. And great to hear that that is working its way into the course and that the course is feeding back into creating that critical educational content for all pilots, not just flight instructors.
Absolutely.
So as of the day that we are recording this, this morning, I got an email from the Federal Register that there's a new final rule out there that will be eliminating expiration dates from flight instructor certificates. And we knew this was coming. The NPRM came out in early 2023. There was actually 2 comment periods on it during 2023, and the new final rule is out. So could you give us a preliminary overview on what you're seeing from that final rule?
Yeah, I'm going to ask Jodee to give details on that rule, but I'll kind of just preface it by saying that we did take a closer look at that proposed rule during the comment period. There are pros and cons to it that I'll let Jodee speak about, but then Sarah, you know as well some of the pros and cons because your time here at AOPA, you looked into that proposed rule as well and provided some helpful, some meaningful comments. But related to the eFIRC itself, which is what we're here talking about today, is that we know the rule does require some sort of recent training experience requirement. So the eFIRC will still be around. That's a big question we're asking is, will there still be a need for an eFIRC once this rule goes into effect? And the answer to that, as far as I know, is yes. But it just changes the administrative part of it as far as how you show your date. No more certificate expiration date on your CFI certificate at the next time that you get a new certificate issued to you. But I would imagine that there's some sort of need to validate your completion requirements that you did meet the recent experience requirements, if you will. So I think that through our eFIRC offering the certificate of completion and some kind of documentation will be necessary for validating that you are still current. So Jodee, you want to talk more about the details of the rule itself and implications that might create for the CFI community?
Yes, absolutely. So the FAA published a final rule effective December 1st of this year. This rule will remove the expiration date on the flight instructor certificates, thus changing our renewal requirements to recency requirements. Flight instructors will still be required to maintain their recent experience documentation through IACRA so that it can be tracked. And in the event that they lapse, a flight instructor lapses on their recency experience, they have 3 calendar months after the month of their expiration to do a flight instructor renewal course in order to gain their recent experience back.
All right, and a course, so it would be any course, there's no special requirement, so just using the eFIRC as it is right now would meet that requirement.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, once that final rule's in effect in December, as you mentioned. So I'm sure there'll be more analysis and education coming out on that final rule. There's more to it than simply CFI renewal or recurrency dates, but that's the high level overview and impacts to courses like the eFIRC.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll be interested to see how everything kind of spans out this next few months.
I had a bit of a nostalgic moment. I'm due to start my renewal. Actually, my window for renewal starts today. And I'm like, oh man, I have my last certificate with an expiration date on it in my wallet already. So, I mean, I suppose I could churn it out before December 1st and get one more, but I think I'll wait since I'm not due till the end of January. So as long as I do it after December 1st, I can just get one more card.
Yeah.
So I guess I have a little bit of a strategy choice for how I want to do that. All right. Well, thank you both so much for being here today. We appreciate all that AOPA and the Air Safety Institute does to keep us safe and educated and provide all that relevant content for pilots of all levels.
Thank you for having us, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. This was fun.
Thank you again to AOPA for sponsoring today's episode. We appreciate Jodee and Paul taking the time to come on the show. Be sure to check out aopa.org to learn all that AOPA has to offer flight instructors and the general aviation community. Listeners to the More Right Rudder podcast can get $10 off their NAFI membership. Use the code POD49, POD49, at checkout at nafinet.org. This code is good for both new and renewal memberships.